Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, man. What's happening, man? Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fan. We up in this thing. Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Please feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We up in this thing, baby. Shout out to the fam, and happy Monday to you guys. I know we say happy Friday. But Monday is over with, and you got 1 down and 4 to go. So there you go. All right. So anyway, for this Monday stream, man, listen, Saints put the pads on and they go at it. You know, that's the best time, man, when we see some of that stuff popping and snapping. We see the Who Dat Nation put the work in as we get going in the stream. So fam, shout out to all y'all for being in the building as well. We got several items of news that we're going to cover in this episode of the Coma. We're going to shout out our good people at the Saints News Network who providing the scoop, day news, notes, and so on. We're going to go over that. We also going to recap. We're going to have a react to several interviews. We got Dennis Allen on tap, followed by the Derek Carr and David Carr interview, which was interesting. And of course, the mystery guy, I guess you won't call him a mystery guy if you want to, Zach Bond. We're going to hear from Zach Bond and see what he thinks about his opportunity, as the Saints are giving Zach Bond an opportunity to step up and see what he can do with the defense. And they're really hoping, and I've been saying this all summer long, is that the Saints haven't brought in any competition for Zach Bond, and the Quan Alexander thing is dead. You know, that was a shout out one of the family members posted up in the community section on the team that showed that Quan Alexander is now a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that is dead. So they had an opportunity, but that is gone. Zach Bond is the current person that's going to occupy the third linebacker position, and the injuries befalls the Saints linebacker core. God forbid, Zach Bond. Now listen, it is quite possible Zach Bond can have a Caden Ellis type season like from last year. I know it's a lot to ask for, but it is quite possible it could work. You know, just saying. Anyway, we also going to cover from this from the whodatdaily.com. Shout out to Niles Carpenter, who's our key Saints contributor. Writes fantastic articles. I'm really proud of our team. Shout out to B, who's our chief editor. She's done a wonderful job in bringing in some fantastic people. And the Saints, let me tell you something. The whodatdaily.com has got it going on. So if you guys aren't in on it, that's our key news site, the whodatdaily.com. Saints, Pelicans, LSU, whatever, boxing, they in the building. Let me tell you something. I'm proud of the team over there. Niles dropped a really good article on Saints lineman on Andrus Peat hampered by quadriceps injury. Of course, we found out, shout out to Nick Underhill, that it is just a strain. So we're going to go over that. And also we're going to talk about the addition. The Saints did make a move. They did sign former Jet defensive end Kyle Phillips. And you know how Sean Payton likes to shop in the Ohio State store, Dennis Allen likes to shop in the New York Jets store. Let me tell you something. We got several guys from over there. Saints 7. What's up with the Jets, man? 7 guys, man. There's several guys, excuse me, that's coming over from the Jets, and we don't know. This Kyle Phillips is not exactly Yannick Ngakoue or Robert Quinn. And once again, the Saints aren't looking at that tier or that level of defensive lineman. They're thinking, hey, we just need some guy to bring in here to have a little competition going on. So, hey, we'll cover that as well. And also, we'll talk about the Alvin Kamara situation. This is shout out to Catherine Terrell of ESPN. She dropped this here about Alvin Kamara playing. And this came by way of Dennis Allen. We'll play the interview for those who didn't hear it. We'll play it again as Dennis Allen did volunteer information about Alvin Kamara and a potential visit with Roger Goodell to explain what happened in Las Vegas. So anyway, we'll cover all that. Shout out to the fam before we get going and shaking and baking in this thing. Shout out to all the fam. OG Jerry, shout out to you, my brother. Thank you for being here. Always supporting the fam. Trav 504, shout out to you. All right. Shout out to Mikey, the Saints fan for life. Shout out. Appreciate you, bro. All right. Pammy, shout out to my queens out there. Much love to all the queens. My brother JT's in this thing. Shout out to Elite, always representing as well. Gundam, always representing. Much love. Brother Lewis is in the building as well. Good to see you, fam. Appreciate you. Chevy, what's happening, man? Good to see you in the stream as well. Shout out to the biggest Saints family member in the business. It's Big Low Country, man. Shout out to my dog, Low. All right, he said, I heard the Saints were crying in the middle of the field at the thought of playing. Oh, no, hell no. Hell no. We swept y'all, man. The Saints are looking forward to playing y'all, man. They swept. They got the brooms out on the Falcons, man. They knocked it all. They hit the Falcons so hard with the broom, they knocked all the goddamn feathers off them. All you seen was just like white meat, like you ever seen them old Tom and Jerry cartoons when they had the vulture and that vulture was running around trying to eat him, and then they had put something in his face, or maybe that's Bugs Bunny I'm thinking about. They got the big vulture, and then they'll shoot a gun and blow all the damn feathers off the vulture. Ain't nothing there but that's what the Saints did last year to the damn Falcons. They took the gun and blew all the damn feathers off the Falcons, man.
He ain't lying.
Shout out to my dog, Low, man. All right. Always like picking at my brother. All right, Brother Reginald, shout out to your family. Yeah, much love, bro. Shout out to you. What's up, Dana? Shout out to you. My brother Derek, shout out to you, my brother. Thank you for being here as well. Shout out to everybody, man. Appreciate each and every last one for being here. Molly Mall, shout out to you, brother. Good to see you in the chat as well. Tori, shout out to my brother Tori, always repping as well, man. Much love. Yeah, oh yeah, there you go. Shout out to Chevy, man, for becoming a member of the channel. Much love to you, fam. Appreciate you. Josh, shout out to you, Joshua. St. Doug, how you doing, sir? They just took it, blew all the damn feathers off of that. I think I got the sound effect. This is what it sounded like when the Saints swept the Falcons last year. They did this. Do I got the sound effect? I don't think I got it. No, hold on. I think I got it on here. That's what we did the Falcons last year. That's what Lowe was saying after they lost to the Saints and he went to the Dome. Coach Ronan went to the Dome and went down there and got the issue. And this is what Lowe sounded like when he had to get on the post. But shout out to Lowe. Lowe didn't run from me. Lowe got on the show after the Saints lost, and this is how he sounds.
He ain't lying.
That's how he sound. Oh, man. Y'all remember, man, he had to put the score T on and everything. That's how he felt, man. It's all good, man. Oh, man, it's all good, my brother. But anyway, fam, let's get ready to jump into this item right here, man. We're going to start with the Saints news and camp notes from day number 5. It's in the books and very interesting. Day 5 is in the books, covered by Saints News Network. Shout out to the fam over there. As always, you dig? So anyway, Monday's training camp in the books. Saints had plenty of table with the family members in attendance. It was real hot out there, man. It was one of them hot days, fam. Let me tell you something. very hot day, and much of the entire damn area, according to the map, was under a heat advisory from what was it, from 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And it's like that tomorrow, a heat advisory with potential the heat index going up to as much as 115 degrees. So they letting you know off top, man. Listen, drink a lot of water. You people working outside, you gotta know how to work, and just make sure you stay hydrated. Get some shade, because that sun, it'll knock it up out of you. Let me tell you something. That sun ain't nothing to play with. Don't play with that sun. That sun is undefeated. You heard me? Like Father Time. The sun is undefeated. Let me tell you something. All right, Devon, shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you as well. All right, fam. So let's get into this thing, man, as well. Yeah, that sun is undefeated. So everyone was there for the Saints on Monday. Andrus Peat left practice early due to an injury. Dennis Allen said after practice it was related to his quad. Does not believe it's anything serious like Trey Turner's torn tendon that put him on the shelf for the rest of the year. So anyway, let me just kind of jump to the article right here by the whothatdaily.com. Y'all go there and share it. Covered by Niles Carpenter, who covered that Saints starting left guard Andrus Peat had concerning exit from practice. He walked himself to the locker room visibly in pain due to a quadriceps injury. Head coach Dennis Allen addressed the situation, noting that it would closely assess Peat's condition to determine the extent of the injury. Despite the setback, Allen expressed some relief, stating that he doesn't believe Peat's situation is as dire as his Trey Turner's season ending injury. So anyway, Nick Underhill did tweet, what was this, almost a couple out 2 or 3 hours ago, that he said sources say that Andrus Peat is okay and it's just a quad strain and nothing else. So the Saints believe that the ailment is a strain, and that's what they covered. So anyway, but a little backdrop on it is that as experienced Peat's injury history is worth noting, as he experienced multiple setbacks throughout his 8-year career, causing him to miss a significant number of games. In a move to address financial constraints, the Saints and Andrus Peat did reach a revised contract agreement, resulting in substantial cap savings of approximately $9.5 million for the team. As the season progresses, the Saints face the challenges of structuring the roster while aiming to maximize their performance on the field. So shout out to Niles, dropping the scoop there as we return back to the training camp breakdown. So starting looks for the Saints offensively, the Saints rolled out Trevor Penning, James Hurst, Eric McCoy, and Ryan Ramczyk. The previous mentioned Peat leaving practice early, and other pairings at the guards included Throckmorton at right and Landon Young at left. The defense went into a 4-3 base with Cam, Shepard, Breesy, and Granderson on the line. Later in drills, Kalen Saunders went in place of Breesy, and Turner was opposite of Cam. Pete Werner, Demario Davis, and Zach Bourne were at linebacker, with Paulson Adebo opposite of Laddie Daddy on the outside. Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus May were at the safety position. One-on-one details. And this is what was pretty interesting today. Tight ends, receivers, and DBs didn't disappoint. Breakdown goes Michael Thomas versus Paulson Adebo. Winston, the quarterback. First rep, nice one. Physicality between the two saw Thomas get the better of Adebo at the first short pass to the outside right. However, Thomas tried to reach in to get the pass, and Adebo made a great adjustment to pick it off. Paulson Adebo now. Now that's what I'm talking about. When we talk about steel sharpening steel, Paulson Adebo is a physical cornerback, very lanky, very intelligent. Remember when the Saints took him, a lot of the comparisons was to Richard Sherman. That was one of the things the Saints talk about when they brought him in here. They kept the comparison to Richard Sherman, who's a pretty damn good cornerback. So let us not forget that, my friend. All right, so as we move forward, Traquan Smith versus Bradley Roby, the battle of the silver cans. I'm going to stop it. I completed a slant route. Rashid Shaheed versus Alante Taylor. That's a good battle with Jameis at the quarterback. Slant completion coming to the right left. Quan Baker versus Anthony Johnson. Jake Hayner was the quarterback. Incomplete deep left sideline. Brian Edwards versus Isaac Yiddom, who's starting to get a little press there, with Hayner at the quarterback. Slant inside completion. James Washington versus Adrian Fry. Hayner's the quarterback. Comeback left side completion. A.T. Perry versus Troy Pride with Haener as the quarterback. Incomplete sharp curl. Lynn Bowden Jr. versus Hugo Almighty with Haener at the quarterback position. Incomplete sideline to the left. Michael Thomas versus Alante Taylor. That's another good battle. And Haener at the quarterback. Complete post route middle. Kiki Cote versus Adrian Fry with Carr at the quarterback. It was a fade route deep left for a touchdown. So Kiki Cote fried or burnt Adrian Fry. Keith Kirkwood versus Isaac Yiadom. Carr was the quarterback, incompletion. Chris Olave with Anthony Johnson covering him. Carr was the guy. Pass breakup, middle right, middle strike. Taysom Hill versus Lonnie Johnson Jr. Carr, pass breakup, slant right. Traquan Smith versus Laddie Daddy with Carr at the QB. Touchdown, deep middle post. Nice job by Smith to get behind the defense to make a great catch going to the ground. So Traquan Smith got the best of Laddie Daddy that time. Shaq Davis versus Troy Pride with Carr at the quarterback. Touchdown, right sideline. Great throw catch on the connection. Quan Baker versus Bradley Roby with Carr at the quarterback. Curl left short. Rashid versus Paulson Adebo. That's another good one. Incomplete deep right sideline. Little overthrown. He did try to get one hand catch, but couldn't get his hands on it. James Washington versus the undersized Hugo Amadi with Carr at the quarterback. Fade left side pass breakup. Jawan Johnson versus Alante Taylor with Carr at the quarterback. Curl route sharp right dropped. Lynn Bowden versus Fry. Winston at the quarterback. Incomplete deep left side off target. A.T. Perry versus Yiadom. Jameis at the quarterback. Completed back shoulder deep gain off right sideline. Great adjustment by A.T. Perry to get the catch. Chris Olave versus Marcus May. Touchdown, deep left sideline. Jameis at the quarterback position. Brian Edwards versus Troy Pride with Jameis at the quarterback. Incomplete. Traquan Smith versus Anthony Johnson with Carr as the guy. Completion. Michael Thomas versus Paulson Adebo with Carr at the quarterback. Completed back shoulder hookup, right side for intermediate gain. Thomas went to the ground to make the catch and was able to maintain the possession against Paulson Adebo. Kiki Cote versus Adrian Fry with Jameis at the quarterback. Incomplete. Rashid Shaheed versus Alante Taylor with Jameis at the quarterback. Complete. It was intermediate in route. So that's some of the one-on-one breakdowns that we're going to see a lot more of that moving forward into camp. So quarterback breakdown, 2 sets of team drills today, no 7-on-7 period. Derek Carr finished 5 of 7, while Jameis was 2 of 6. Jake Haener was 4 of 5. Team drill 1, Carr first pass was a curl route in the middle to Mike Thomas, who went down to his knees to get the catch in front of Zach Bond. Next play was outside run to the left side, Bond in pursuit. Carr hit a slant to Thomas, working against Thomas on the next play, and the final one was incomplete on the intermediate sideline shot to Rashid Shaheed. A lot would conclude that Alante Taylor would have likely drawn the flag for the contact, a little PI there. Winston's first series started with Kendre Miller running inside after he made a great cut to pick up a nice gain. Winston tried Brian Edwards on his first pass, but it was broken up by Lonnie Johnson Jr. The ball was a little underthrown. Kirk Merritt had a carry outside the next play for a short gain, and then Winston hit Jimmy Graham for a short hookup. Graham trucked Troy Pride in the process, which got all the reaction from the crowd. Anthony Orgy came in to help make the stop. Graham jawed with Pride after the play, and what was a vintage Jimmy Graham moment. It was a runner-up for the play of the day. So Jimmy Graham kind of knocked the pride out of Troy, man, pretty much. Troy had no pride after Jimmy Graham trucked him. Let's just say that. Haener got things going with a complete intermediate sideline gain to Rashid Shaheed. Ellis Merriweather had a short run on the next play, followed by a rush attempt on the outside by Benjamin. His final pass attempt was to A.T. Perry, which was incomplete near the sideline. Team drill number 2, Carr's second series started by hooking up with Chris Olave over the middle with Pete Werner in coverage. He tried Thomas on a slant for the next play, but Laddie Daddy broke it up. Carr came back to Thomas on the rollout play for a nice gain. On that play, Peyton Turner had a nice pressure against Scott Lashley. The final play was hitting Alvin Kamara on the curl route for a short gain with Pete Werner and Alante Taylor in the vicinity. Winston's first pass of the series was thrown in the dirt after both Passanio and Granderson were there to provide the pressure. The next play was a sideline hookup to Quan Baker off to the right side for a short gain. Once again, Passanio had the pressure. Winston tried Chris Olave off to the sideline for an immediate attempt. It was incomplete. There was definitely contact, so we would like to have seen a flag. Another PI in the mix there. Final pass was a throwaway after Passanio and Granderson played meet at the quarterback again. So Granderson and Passanio trying to get his shine on. How about that? They beat Storm Norton while Granderson beat Scott Lashley. And if Scott Lashley keep getting beat, he gonna have to get the hell up out of here. That's not good. But if your name is Scott Lashley and people are lashing you in the practice, you got to pick it up. Now, Hayner's series started with him getting Lynn Bowden Jr. on a receiving screen off to the left side. Then he hit a swing pass to Kirk Merritt for a short gain. His third and final pass attempt got a rise out of the family as he hit Rashid Shaheed on a touchdown deep down the sideline, working against Adrian Fry. That would have been the play of the day. The final play was a keeper by Hayner as Nico Lalos provided the pressure. So once again, Adrian Fry lives up to his name because he was surely getting cooked out there today. So there you go. All right, general observations going on. A family member will be back Friday for 3 straight practice. So the next 2 will be only the media only. So they'll be back on Friday. So from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, them days, all media days. And Friday, the family members get to walk back out there. Shorter practices are a result of the CBA. For anyone wondering, the next several should be a little longer. All right, good to know. 3 reps now, all team drills since day one for Laddie Daddy working against Michael Thomas. He hasn't given a catch up to him. Laddie Daddy with the shutdown on can't guard Mike. All right, 3 reps in a row there. So anyway, Will Lutz was 8 for 8 with all his kicks today, which included some range. Those kickers are bringing it. Blake Gilligan handled the punting duties as the team rotated the 2 in. Alvin Kamara is planning to meet with Goodell. This is what was said. An article was written here. We'll cover that after the Dennis Allen interview stemming from his arrest in Las Vegas. They asked James Hurst about Derek Carr's impact so far. You can see his response, but he said Hurst said that Carr asking questions about what he can do better. And this is what Hurst said. We know he can get the job done at a very high levels, and so we're feeling the pressure even more so. We got to get the job done. He can work. That's talking about Big James Hurst on Derek Carr. Anyway, let's keep it going, fam, as we get it. Let's jump and step into one of our first interviews right here with Dennis Allen. Let's listen to what the old ball coach had to say today about the black and gold. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all.
Pretty good first day in pads. Good chance to get up there and look at the tape, see what it actually looked like. But, I thought overall, the energy was pretty good. One injury of note, Andrus Peat with a quad. So take a look at that, see where he's at. But other than that, made it out pretty healthy.
Do you have to see everyone hold up in terms of the heat and the pads and all?
Yeah, I thought everybody held up pretty good. We didn't have really anybody go down with any type of heat-related issues today. So, look, we were only out in the heat for about an hour or so. So, which is by design. But yeah, I think the guys are handling the heat pretty well.
Oh, when you say for the quad, obviously straight term the quad, but
No, I don't think those are related. Yeah, no. Trey was a quad tendon rupture.
right.
Andrus, I think, is probably more of a strained quad, but we'll see. But I don't anticipate that being anywhere near the same deal.
It is a strain. It came out later on. It is a strain.
So
he's all right.
Really, today was mandated by the league, collectively bargained for. So it was an hour 45 practice today. Tomorrow's 2, and then really from there on out, we kind of have control over it.
Dennis, do you have a number with the heat index?
No, you getting hot out there, Bobby? Yeah. No, look, it's something that we talked about yesterday with the doctors and the training staff. We're going to be smart with how we do it, but yet, I think it's important that we get out into it and have to get acclimated to it.
Yeah, how would you just evaluate Marshawn's start the training camp?
Yeah, I'd say it's been pretty good. I think, look, the best thing that I've seen out of Lat in these first 5 days of practice is the way he's working, the way he's competing, and if he continues to practice that way, then I would anticipate that he'll perform at the level that we expect him to perform at, and that we're used to him performing at. And so that's been good to see.
Dennis, is he so good? Would you say that he can affect other guys around him? He can make other guys around him better.
Yeah, look, I mean, we put him in the most difficult situations that you can put a corner in. There's a lot of times that we put him on the opponent's best player, best receiver, and leave him on an island a little bit, I think he wins more of those matchups than he loses. So,
Oh yeah,
it's a great for a play caller. It's a great tool to have, knowing that you can put him on their best receiver and be able to, take him out of the game, and it allows you to do some other things defensively to help out in some other areas.
absolutely, man. Love Laddie Daddy, man. He gearing up for a big year.
Yeah, look, I think, here's the thing for Mike. Mike's highly, highly competitive, and he wants to be perfect on every single play. And the reality is we're working back into that. So, I think for him and for his confidence and being able to go out there and make some contested catches and make some plays offensively, I think that was good. Good for us to see, good for him to see, and we'll continue to, ramp him up as we go along.
What did you think of Brazil?
Well, look, I'd have to go back and look at the tape to really evaluate how he was today. But I'd say overall, I've been impressed with him in terms of his, explosiveness, his quick twitch. There's some suddenness inside, some pass rush ability inside that, I don't know that we've had. In terms of the way that we've had some great power rushers, but I don't know that we've had the suddenness, the burst, the twitch, some of those things that we have.
As a follow-up, is that a hard spot for a rookie? You think that's one of the most difficult spots for a rookie to step in?
Yeah. So I would say this. I would say, along the defensive line, from a physical standpoint, I think that's a very difficult job to do. From a mental standpoint, I'd say that's, not quite as challenging as some other positions. So, but the way that he's built, his size, his power, his speed, I mean, he's built to play that position.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. From what I've been seeing, he's been playing pretty well. But once again, that's without the pads on. I've seen a few things from the day that was intriguing. Not bad.
Well, the purpose of that is to make sure that they're putting their eyes in the right spot. I mean, a lot of times, players get in trouble because they start looking somewhere they're not supposed to be looking, and the emphasis there is making sure they got their eyes in the right spot and maintain keeping their eyes in the right spot.
You discussed eye discipline as an issue, or not an issue, but a challenge sometimes for the secondary. Is that in the same conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we say on defense, look right, do right, and so the most important thing is training guys to put their eyes in the right spot and then teaching them 1, 2, or 3. It's not that complicated. If he goes out, I want you to do this. If he goes in, I want you to do this. If he goes vertical, I want you to do this. It's pretty simple. It's just maintaining that discipline and putting your eyes in the right spot.
Yeah, he said that makes it real simple, man. And Laddie Dad and them a Devo, man, they getting.
Well, we've done it. It's just based on how the practice is. Typically, look, in a shorter practice like this, you can't get everything that you really like to get done. But as we get into some of the longer practices, basically anytime we go 7-on-7 with the skill guys, the O-line and D-line will be over there working together.
First set of one-on-ones with the receivers and defensive backs. It's obviously a difficult scenario for defensive backs. What are you looking for in that regard? What are you hoping they're going to improve upon?
Well, look, the most important thing in that situation, because that drill is really slanted towards the offense. There's some drills that are slanted towards the defense. That particular drill is a little bit slanted more towards the offense. And so really it's an opportunity for guys to really focus in on concentrating on working their technique. And if you work proper technique in that drill and have success there, that'll bode well as you get into, full team situations where now there's a rush on the quarterback.
Dennis, a lot of new faces on that defensive line. How do you think those guys are coming together and looking through almost a week?
Yeah, I've been impressed with the way they're working, and I've been impressed with the way they're looking right now. So, yeah, but we're just a short period into camp, so we got a long way to go, but we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, we talk about Dennis Allen knowing his defense, man. He does. He knows his fundamentals, defensively speaking. A lot of other stuff tied to the head coaching realm he definitely needs work on. But what he's saying is 100% accurate. The defense, in terms of what we've seen so far, this could very well change, and sometimes it does. The defense, while we see what Peyton Turner's doing. I played an interview with Peyton Turner a couple of days ago, and he was talking about him being healthy and being able to make the next step. And like we talked about with first round draft picks, the Saints do not want to be known as a team that took 2 first round draft picks in how many years? Within a 3-year period of time? And then you had one floppish one like Marcus Davenport, who's now with the Minnesota Vikings. And now you have Peyton Turner here, who has to step up. So the Saints are going to provide Peyton Turner every opportunity they can to seize the starting position. That's not. We know Granderson at this time is a better defensive end than he is. Granderson's been in the league for 5 years. Peyton Turner's been in there for 3. And a couple of those years he was banged up. So the Saints are going to give Peyton Turner every advantage that they can to win that job opposite of Cam. So but Granderson's job is to make it difficult on him.
Pretty far up there in that fourth quarter comeback stat. What makes him? I mean, if you look at his numbers, he's ahead of some guys who are legends in this league. What do you think makes him?
Yeah, look, I think. Look, his ability to, I think it starts here in his mind. Number one, he's got the confidence in his ability to come back, and I think, he's able to use his mind to put our offense, the offenses that he's been in charge of, in the best positions to be successful. And so I think that's probably, his greatest asset is his mind and the way that he processes information.
Dennis, there's a report that Alvin Kamara wanted to go talk to Roger Goodell ahead of any potential suspension. Was that something he talked to you about like how he felt compelled to do that, or?
Yeah, I think that was a discussion that initially started with him and Mickey, and I think Alvin really wants to, get out ahead of this and have a chance to visit with Roger and kind of give him his side of the story and look, at the end of the day, I think part of it is, let's get some resolution to where we're at, and then let's move forward. So I think Alvin, is looking forward to putting this behind him and focusing in on what he has to do to be the best he can for our team this season.
Indeed. I agree with that 100%, man. A man paid his $10 million. He put that work in and gave the man $10 million, settled the case, and now it's on to the next one. The next, we'll cover that momentarily. But, the Alvin Kamara thing, we were looking at it, and eventually, I guess, cooler heads prevailed and said, let's just get it done, man. And what would be, and let me ask the Who Dat Nation there, it's 140 plus of us in the building. To you guys, what do you think that the punishment or what would be for Roger Goodell's going to issue for Alvin Kamara? What would you think the suspension could be? It's a small percentage chance that no suspension happens, but knowing how Goodell does not like the Saints, documented heavy hand punisher to the New Orleans Saints, definitely that. But if it comes to drunken owners or guys popping in and nasty, cheesy guys that run teams up north, going into massage parlors, getting their groove on, that type of stuff, they kind of lay up off there. But heavy-handed punishment to the Saints happened all the time. Now, am I mad at Goodell for that? I can't really be mad at that, especially if you're a player here in here, like I know. Like and everybody out there listening, that Roger Goodell does not like the New Orleans Saints, and the New Orleans Saints family members do not like Roger Goodell. I say it all the time. I do not like Roger Goodell. And most of the people across the league that are people that support the NFL do not like Roger Goodell, but some kind of way he's still up there. Them people don't care about you not liking Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell makes us money. That's how they, that old Paul Tagliabue stuff. That's out of that's out of the way. But yeah, Roger Goodell, I think, in the punishment will happen. A lot of people. Okay, cool. Thank y'all for chiming in. Okay, there you go. Brute Saint says about 4 to 6 games. Shout out, bro. What's up, Mario? 6 games. All right. 4 games, says Pammy. Quavatus says it's 4. Thank you, bro. Trey says 7. Shout out to you. Kai the Great. What's up, Kai? Shout out to you, my brother. Kevin Conley says 4 games. Shout out to you, Kevin. God Mole says 4. All right. Molly Mall said 1 game. If it was up to me. All right. Kai says hopefully 4 games, but knowing Goodell, he'll probably drop the hammer. All right. B Jizzle, what's popping, my brother? He said hopefully 4. Tremaine says, what'd you say, Tremaine? 2 games. Okay, hopefully that's what it is, bro. Hopefully. All right. Shout out to JLJ504HD. Shout out, my brother says 6 likely. Ramsey, shout out to you, bro, says 4. Greg says 2 games. All right. A lot of different games in there, but anyway, ranging anywhere between about 2 to 7 games. Is that the feel in the Great Saint Think Tank and the Who Dat Nation? Brandon says about 3. What's up, Colorado? How you doing, fam? But yeah, my thing is when I said I was like, I expected 4 to 8 games. And they like, damn, 8 games like half the season, Q. It's Goodell. I don't put anything past him, but likely I'm thinking anywhere between 4 to 8 games, with 8 being the max. You see what I'm saying? I don't think he's going to give him like a year suspension. I don't think that happens. But anywhere between 4 to 8 games, him going meet with Roger Goodell to try to explain his case is a cool move. So hopefully we'll see how it all go. All right. George says 4 games, drop to 2. We hope. All right. Thank you, bro. But the Saints are the Saints have done a fantastic. And see, this is the thing too. It happened in the Pro Bowl. The Saints had the entire draft period, the offseason, the free agency period, and its different layers to address the Alvin Kamara situation. They drafted Kendre Miller with the 3rd round draft pick. They brought in Jamal Williams to pair with him. That was one of the best moves the Saints made all offseason thus far. When you rank these moves, Jamal Williams' move has got to be up there, top 2. Behind the, people have mentioned the Carr move, but Jamal Williams was a big move for the Saints, no doubt about it. But having him there and Kendre Miller and then Enu Benjamin's another guy people are throwing out there. The Saints are doing all right. And then there's still several people that's available in the free agency market that if the Saints needed to go to, they can go to. All right, Corey says, do you think it's Peyton? I think it's Peyton. He does. Oh, well, no, brother Corey, I think it was Tom Benson. Now we know Tom Benson and transitioned to the next world. But remember, it was him and Jerry Jones that voted against Goodell being the commissioner, and he still got it. And he's very, by his moves and his actions, and it's a well-known thing that he's a pretty vindictive dude. So, that's just what it is. Now, Sean Payton did put the clown shirt on and all. So we'll see if your theory tests when he's with the Broncos. If Broncos get hammered up with some stuff, if they need to go and sin, we'll test your theory there. All right. Kevin says 3 to 4 games, my brother, just based on sheer spite. Yeah. A month worth of games. Yeah. I see that, fam. And I say about 4. I'm thinking personally anywhere between 4 with 8 being the max. That's how I'll look at it. But anyway, let's keep it going. Let's cover that. Let's talk a little bit about that. The Alvin Kamara thing that Dennis Allen gave us is a perfect segue because Kat Terrell was the one that asked the question that brought this out, and she wrote an article on it as well. And she says the Saints running back plans to meet with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell regarding his potential suspension. And you heard what Dennis Allen said about it. And she says he had a discussion with Mickey. Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you something. I told him, if you got any problems, I'm strapped, come and get me. All right. So the league office not indicated to the team whether Kamara will be suspended. Matter of fact, there was another report that said that the league refused to comment on the Kamara meeting. So just throwing that out there. And he says, I think Alvin really wants to get out of this. And this is what Dennis Allen just said. And he wants to meet Roger Goodell to give his side of the story. We're working, practicing getting better. Alvin is going to be a huge part of what we do here. We'll take things in stride. Anything we have to deal with, we deal with. And just a little backdrop. Kamara reached a plea agreement at the beginning of July and has no longer facing the felony charge for his role in the fight, which occurred on the eve of the Pro Bowl in February of 22. Kamara and 3 men, including Indianapolis cornerback Chris Lemons, were initially facing felony charge of battery and substantially bodily harm and misdemeanor charge of conspiracy to commit battery. But Kamara had a plea agreement and reduced the charges to the misdemeanor charge of breach of peace. He was ordered to do 30 hours of community service and paid Darnell Green Jr., the man injured in the fight, paid for his medical bills over $105,000. And then, of course, Green, Green had his lawyer, which is Tony Busby. And if that name sounds familiar, Busby was the guy that was the lawyer for the women that was the massage group of women, I guess you could say, that was going up against Deshaun Watson, and Busby got that bread out of him. So he got that bread. That was that was so easy. I was like, man, that was a pitch up tackle move right there. Busby said on Instagram account that the 2 men reached a private settlement in July. The amount was like $10 million, I want to say. That settlement included a public apology by Kamara. And he said, please accept my sincere apologies for the events of February 5th of 2022 in Las Vegas. I'm happy that we're able to get on the other side of this unfortunate incident. I wish you the best for the future. Now, the NFL states in its personal conduct policy that a player does not need to have a criminal conviction to still face a suspension. It's not enough simply to avoid being found guilty of a crime. The league policy states we are all held to a higher standard, and except if you're Kraft or the dude from the Colts or Jerry Jones, must conduct ourselves in a way that is responsible and promotes the values of the NFL, and is lawful. Players convicted of a crime are subject to the disposition of criminal proceedings or subject to discipline. I'll tell you what, it's a different world when you're the owner. My bad, they like to be called governors now. Ownership used to be a pretty good thing, right? It's now, oh no, I'm not the owner, I'm the governor. Oh, okay, all right, you brother. You the governor now? Yeah, that owner, that's out of here. We governors now. All right, okay, I get you. So, but that's interesting, all within his face, that all of the legal spiel about such and such, so hypocritical. I'm not getting into it. I'm not going to get all into it. But every time I hear stuff like that from the NFL, I think about Jerry Jones, what he was doing with the lady that was, I think she was a cheerleader. It happened several years ago. The guy that runs the Colts, him out there doing the crazy stuff he did when he was drunk in public. And then, of course, and then he got the word to then Snyder. And then I remember he was berating Snyder. I'm like, how this drunken fool gonna sit up here and berate Snyder? Snyder's a moron, but you a drunkard. You can't. Let's get another guy. Let's get somebody else to beat that want to push moral stuff up here. You can't throw, you can't throw no stones. You live in a glass house over there, sucker. But anyway, and then you have Kraft with his cheesy tail up in the massage joints, but all that gets a different view. But and I bring it back to this measurement, like dealing with that happened with David Onyemata several years ago. Y'all remember what happened with David Onyemata? David Onyemata had ordered a box of I guess it was fake weed stuff that was in the box, right? That came to his apartment. I think it was in Harahan. That went to his apartment there. He never got that box. That box was intercepted by the people, right? The people intercepted the box. He never opened the box, never consumed what was in the box, never had nothing to do with the box. He went through whatever they had him to go through, which was the little program for him, whatever. He did all that kind of old stuff. And then Roger Goodell still suspended that man, and he ain't even touched the box. Y'all remember that? And I was like, ain't this a son of a gun? They didn't even press nothing on that. Put one in the chat if y'all remember that. And when I remember that, I was like, man, that's the guy didn't touch what was in the box. He had nothing to do. The box and him never made contact with each other. And then the people was laying it out, and after he did his little stuff, they let him go. No, nothing. No charges, no nothing. None of that. and they still hit David Onyemata with a what was it, a game, 1 game suspension, I think it was. And I said, man, come on, bro. You can't. I mean, some of these things it got to be like on a case by case basis, because not all of them exactly the same. Some are in the same realm, some are not. But that's why I was saying he's going to do sometime. I don't foresee it, like, because Goodell's heavy handed with the Saints. That's just what it is. That's how he rolls. All right. So anyway, let's go to the next interview here, fam, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about another addition the Saints did made after an injury occurred. We'll cover that after the Derek Carr and David Carr interview from NFL.com. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear it.
Now look, it's not silver and black anymore.
No,
it's kind of red.
It's still red.
Black and wet, like it's hot here. Okay, but I got the shade. Derek Carr, what's up, man?
It's good to see you, bro.
It's good to see you again. Like we didn't hang out and have cookies last night. I didn't have cookies, neither did he. But
yeah,
we were celebrating Mom's birthday. That was fun.
Yeah.
But let's celebrate something else. What I watched at practice today was a lot of fun. I was talking to Foster Moreau just right here before we started. He said they just acquire talent. It's like, and you have so much depth. Just talk a little bit about the offense, like with Pete Carmichael obviously having just a lot of choices, right, on what you guys are going to do every week.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys who play multiple positions.
Yeah.
A lot of guys can do a lot of different things, and when cut time comes, we're going to be cutting like really good football players.
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
Which is like you go through it and you're like start counting. You're like, how do you get rid of that guy? How do you get rid of him? Like it's
right.
It's pretty crazy. So we're just trying to work hard, man, because everyone wants to feel good about our stats and our roster. But as you know, none of that means anything. Until we got to do the work.
Right.
But we're putting the work in, and it's been fun for sure.
Yeah, it's a process, right? It's all about the process, it's not necessarily about what happens every day. Although there were some explosive plays, some fun plays. I'm loving. You told me about Chris Olave coming in. You told me about some of these guys on the offensive side, but some explosive plays. It was fun. I think defensively, that's interesting too. Because Dennis Allen is the defensive guy. He brought you here. He obviously pinpointed that he wanted you here. But talk a little bit about the defense and competing against those guys and what that's like, having maybe some of those veteran guys on the other side.
Yeah, it's a lot of these guys, all 11 of them have that, that alpha dog mentality.
Yeah, you can see it.
You can feel it. And they all, are crazy about running to the ball. They all remind me of Max Crosby. In their effort and their motor. Now Max is a different kind of player.
Sure.
He's unbelievable.
But intensity-wise, it's hard to get that out of multiple guys.
From all of them.
Yeah.
And as you know, when Da is a head coach, he's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
There's not going to be one out of that 11 that goes out there that ain't a dog.
Right.
And that's been the most impressive thing is the competition.
Yeah.
You could see it.
Oh, yeah.
We're not even in pads.
Everything.
And that thing
contested.
is competitive, contested, trash talking.
To the ground, like the ball that you threw down here, down the sideline.
All the way to the ground.
All the way to the ground, punch out.
Yep.
I mean, that's good, especially with the heat.
Exactly. And that's one thing that's been the most impressive to me from OTAs, minicamp, and training camp is how competitive practice is.
Yeah, I love it.
It's not, oh, this is practice. That's game. This is game speed. And that's the only standard they practice at. And it's been cool to just be a part of it.
Yeah, that's cool. So I get a lot of questions about Michael Thomas around here. And everyone's so excited to have him back. And they were kind of telling me, they said, just get this message across. Mike didn't have like 2 restructured knees. Like he had some freak things happen, right, to his toe and then to his foot. And then he was out for a while, but he's back and he feels healthy. Talk about Michael Thomas, your relationship with him, what you've seen from him in the small pieces of practice you've had with him so far.
Yeah, obviously it's so early, but he looks like Michael Thomas to me. I have nothing to gauge it off of besides the film.
Yeah.
But he looks like Michael Thomas. He looks violent in his routes. He's fast. He doesn't get enough credit for his speed, in which he can accelerate vertically with and win horizontally with. And he's just the ultimate competitor, and you're seeing it every day.
So, okay, just tell us maybe a guy that we might not know, right? We talk about the Alvin Kamaras and Taysom Hills, and Jimmy Graham's back.
Yeah.
But tell us about someone that maybe we don't know about that we will know about. Maybe I'll take some fantasy notes as we go through this so I can make sure we win our family league.
Yeah, no doubt. I would say there's so many guys on this team. You look at a guy like Juwan Johnson, who, he's not a guy that has had, 100 catches or anything like that. But, with all the weapons that we have here, he could easily be one of those guys.
From matchup standpoint, he could be in a very favorable position.
He can do that stuff. You got receiver Rashid Shaheed's a good football player. You got obviously Mike and Olave, Alvin out the backfield. Jamal Williams has been really impressive.
That's right.
Not only as a runner, but just as a teammate. He's a very impressive individual to be around.
I see him with the team shirt when he does press conferences.
Yep.
He knows what it's all about.
It's all about the team, and he's. When you're in a running back system with Alvin, it has to be about the team.
It kind of has to be.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the makeup of this whole group. And going back to what I was talking about with Foster, it's like everybody understands their role. Like there are a lot of role players, but they're good football players, but there's just so much depth here.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch it, man. I know you're excited to kind of compete and go through it. Thanks for letting us hang out, dude. Thanks for letting us say that.
All right, so good game right there from Derek Carr talking about the violent. That's Michael Thomas. When you talk about Mike Thomas, all Mike Thomas, he has one switch, and that is like violence. That's how he plays. It's like he plays angry, but a disciplined angry. Like remember remember Xavier Rhodes used to be a good cornerback in this league, and Xavier Rhodes was like he was respected for being a good cornerback. He was a physical guy that put his hands on you and directed you until he met up with Michael Thomas that time. Y'all remember that game when he was there? And Michael Thomas just redirected the guy. It's like Michael Thomas's hands, he put his hands on you, and it's like he gets into his route. You will not stop him, and that's like probably one of the greatest things that I've watched from Michael Thomas when he gets into his route. You won't redirect Michael Thomas. He'll redirect you. And guys try to get physical with Mike, and Mike has these big hands, and Mike just grabs them. It's all one fluid motion. It's like the dude must have spent he spent the majority of the time working on that move coming out of the gate. You understand how important the move is to get out of the gate to get into the route. You see, and that's something that he mastered. And you can see that's like, you talk about a guy that don't have the 4.4 speed, all this kind of nonsense that they were saying about Michael Thomas, but he had the catches of a guy that had that kind of speed that would get down the field. And that's because he's a master route runner, because he does his work before he even gets into the route. He puts some big hands on you and redirects you in a fluid motion, gets you out of the way, gets to the ball and get it in his hands, get it and make a move. That's what Michael Thomas does. Everything is violent. So if Michael Thomas is healthy, with the Michael Thomas you're gonna get is only the playmaker. Now, how does Michael Thomas look in turn? And listen, and I say this again, fam. The big thing with Michael Thomas is the fact that Michael Thomas never had a true complement wide receiver that anybody can give a damn about or have to respect. I mean, who did he have? Traquan Smith this whole damn time? Come on, give me a break. But Chris Olave's there. And then you have the quarterback that Michael Thomas recruited to come here because he understands having a veteran quarterback with the ability to get the ball down the field to a guy like Chris Olave makes Mike Thomas's job good. And plus he gave game to Chris as well as Rashid Shaheed. So those three guys are all ascending. Well, just Olave and Rashid Shaheed are ascending talents. And Michael Thomas is Michael Thomas. There's only one way he plays. And he did have a lot of injuries. He's banged up. But a lot of the stuff that we talk about to Michael Thomas, he never was a super fast guy. But the thing is, you got Michael Thomas here, who's healthy with Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. Then you add Foster Moreau, Jawan Johnson, and you heard what Carr said when the elder Carr asked the younger Carr, what's a guy that you need to tell me about for the fantasy league that I can mark down? He said Jawan Johnson. Out of all of the people, did you get that? Out of all of the people that Derek Carr could say, he said Jawan Johnson. You better watch out for Jawan Johnson. Not Jimmy Graham, not Foster Moreau, not Jamal Williams, but Jawan Johnson. Wow. And then you think about Michael Thomas, like, okay, they're keying in on Mike. You can't key in on Mike. Why? Because Chris Olave will kill you. Rashid Shaheed will kill you. Taysom Hill will kill you. Jimmy Graham, don't forget about Jimmy Graham will kill you. When Alvin comes back from suspension, he going to kill you. Jamal Williams can kill you. Kendre Miller can kill you. You see how all this goes. You see this running theme right here? And this is the thing with Carr, the elder Carr here is talking about the intensity of what he's seeing here. And Derek Carr saying, man, everybody has the same high energy and it's NFL speed because the pressure is on the Saints to represent because of all the resources that the Saints have pumped into this team, not just this year, but last year, putting Carr on top of it, giving them all the resources. Oh, something big needs to happen for the black and gold. No doubt about it. All right, so let's jump into this article right here, fam, from the WhoDatDaily.com, man. Former Jet defensive end Kyle Phillips joins the Saints defensive line. Shout out to Niles Carpenter, our Saints contributor, dropping the scoop. Saints bolstered the defensive line by signing veteran free agent Kyle Phillips, according to reliable sources. Phillips, formerly with the Jets, brings valuable experience to the team after featuring in 29 games, including 8 starts over a span of 3 seasons. During his tenure with the Jets from 2019 to 21, Phillips showcases defensive prowess, amassing 65 tackles and two and a half sacks. The Saints' decision to sign Phillips comes in the wake of Jabari Zuniga's unexpected retirement, providing some needed depth for the Saints D-line. You can see Tom Pelissero was what inspired this tweet because he basically let them know that the Saints had re-signed him. Now, he's 6'4", 200 and almost 280, possesses physical attributes to be formidable force on the field, but his path to securing a spot on the roster won't be easy. The team's defensive line boasts exceptional talent. Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, Peyton Turner, Isaiah Foskey occupying the top positions in the depth chart. In order to secure a place among the defensive ranks, Phillips must prove himself and outperform competitors like Nico Lalos, perhaps Tenu Passanio. So anyway, the team did, bring him back. And remember, they tried him out a couple of days ago. They tried him out with several other players, and ultimately they decided to say, let's go ahead on and since we drung him in. But it's a very interesting thing because he's a Jet guy, and once again, we talk about the Saints having these guys, these Jets that they're bringing in. You have Nate Shepard here. You got Kyle Phillips here, and I don't know if Kyle Phillips will break the defensive end rotation. He's probably, depending on where he is, he could possibly be a practice squad guy. But, this goes to show you from a defensive standpoint, the Saints feel comfortable with what they have. So a lot of people say, Q, where's your Yannick Ngakwe's, where your Robert Quinn's at? The Saints are not looking for that, They're not looking for that. They just feel like we need a guy, a young veteran to provide some depth on the back end to kind of keep things looking a certain kind of way. But anyway, we knew that he eventually comes back because of Zuniga's retirement, which provides an opening for him. And we'll see if Kyle Phillips could capitalize on such a move. Anyway, let's move on to the final discussion in the Zach Bond. Speaking of guys that have been given new life, Zach Bond has been given new life. Like I said, Quan Alexander signed with the Steelers, so the Quan talk is dead. That's over with. Saints had an opportunity. They didn't even look in his direction. They said, listen, we good with Zach Bond. The Saints, and I was saying this during the summer, that the Saints feel like Zach Bond could be a guy that can have a Caden Ellis style year, but they're giving him an opportunity. And remember, he said, why, Q? Well, I mean, he's a 3rd-round draft pick. And this is one of the things the Saints still have this guy here. They could have traded him and got rid of him last year. But they feel like Zach Bond has made some moves, maybe some moves that me or you didn't see, that they're seeing that he's ready to perhaps give the Saints some good linebacker play. But anyway, let's listen to what Zach Bond had to say about his opportunity with the Saints. Is just hearing what he got to say. Put one in the chat, y'all. Good
to see you.
So, Zach, the other day, Pete Werner was up here and he mentioned seeing you at your most confident. What do you think has gone into that sort of boost in confidence coming into camp for you?
I think it's age and overall knowledge of this defense. Once you really know the defense inside and out, you can start looking into really what the offense is doing and how they're trying to attack you in different ways. I feel like I've secured the knowing our defense part. Now I'm really starting to dive into offense and technique.
Do you feel like going up against this offense in particular is an advantage for you?
Just because I know this offense. I've been playing against this offense for 3 years now. Yeah.
But is there anything that this offense does that maybe prepares you for other offenses around the NFL? Because I know they're multiple versatile moving pieces around all that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weapons on this offense. Wide receiver room, tight end, running back. Like, they can attack you from any way. And I feel like a lot of other offenses in the league are like that, or maybe not as much as we even have. So it's really preparing us for what we'll see in the future.
Well, let me pause right there. That's interesting. Zach Bowen saying that he knows the offense. He's been playing against him for the last 3 years. He's also been in the Saints defense for a while. And also remember, he hadn't just been garbage. He's had a few plays here or there. I remember a couple of years ago, he went trained with the Watts, JJ and TJ Watt. And actually that year he did that. He came into camp and actually had some plays. And I remember Zach Bowen having some injuries mixed in there too that stifled his development. So he's healthy this year. And this is the most, and to be honest with you, this is the wisest, smartest version of Zach Bowen that we've had here since the Saints drafted him out of Wisconsin. This is the smartest, wisest version of Zach Bowen we have. He's saying he knows the offense and defense. We shall see.
That first day.
Right, Bobby. Hopefully you read it, bro.
Or like run fits, or what would you say? You know you can run the pass with special teams. Where would you say something you really have to do?
That's a good question. I just think my overall technique. I mean, in college I never played off the ball, so I don't have necessarily all the instincts and technique, basic fundamentals that Pete and DeMario and other guys do. So I'm constantly trying to perfect those and critique those. So it's those little things.
Zach, first day.
That's interesting because we talked about that before when they drafted Zach Bowen. And I remember, and we pull up the tape because I remember when we covered it, we did the draft stream, and I was like, okay. And I remember watching, I was like, the dude's interested. He does have athletic gifts. He is athletically gifted. He's 6'3", 240 plus pounds. But he's right. You heard what he said. At Wisconsin, that was something that the Saints felt like they could teach him. But what Sean Payton was saying about it when they drafted Zach Bowen is that they wanted to use Zach Bowen as a pass rusher. Remember that? It never materialized, what they were saying. And even when Sean Payton left, they never did that, even with Dennis Allen. You thinking, okay, it's time to move on from Zach Bowen because of such and such, such and such. Yeah, and I get that. And this is the thing. If you're a linebacker and you're tasked with being a linebacker, and Zach Bowen will not be a defensive end. He's not big enough. That's why the Saints didn't use him as a defensive end, because if they put him out there and use him as a situational pass rusher, people will look at Zach Bowen and say, you know what, let's switch out of this and run at that side, because he couldn't set that edge. He's a liability. That's the hell I would do. If I'm a quarterback and the Saints put Zach Bowen in as an edge rusher on that side, then I'll just look over there and say, they put that guy in there over there. Let's switch out this pass to a run and run right at that guy. I'll run right at that guy over there. He couldn't set that edge. And that's why the Saints smartly didn't use him as a situational pass rusher at times. But the problem was he fell behind guys, and even undrafted guys outplayed Zach Bowen. Then he was dealing with injuries and stuff like that. So he's had a very tough time. Now, with that being said, allow me to sprinkle some game on the family members about Zach Bowen. Perhaps with all this, and I think this is his 4th year being with the Saints, final year on the contract, with him being here. Now, out of college, you didn't know that, but he's 4 years in the league now. He's been 4 years as a linebacker with the Saints. 4 years of tutelage under the DeMario Davis and Pete Werner there as well. 4 years of having the same linebacker coach in Michael Hodges. 4 years under Dennis Allen's same defense. 4 years or whatever it is of watching the Saints offense. So he said, I know the offense. You heard it out of his mouth. And he's supposed to know the defense. So this is the wisest, smartest, talented Zach Bowen's version that we have out of all the multiverse, out of all of the Who Dat Saint multiverse at any other point in time, using the Marvel and DC analogy of the multiverse. This is the smartest, wisest Zach Bowen incarnation in the Saints uniform that we're going to get this year. So he's smarter than what he was a year before. Will it make a difference? The Saints think so. They held on to him. We could have got somebody else, and they didn't. They did add Dowell. They brought in some undrafted guys, but realistically speaking, those guys are not, unless they tan it up. And even if they tan it up, I don't think there'll be a competition or a competing faction for Zach Bond. Just like with last year, you're like, well, Q, how could you say that? I'll give you some proof. Remember, you can just go back to last year when we had Eric Wilson here, and Eric Wilson looked like he acted like Cam Jordan was like Cam's little brother. He had the same big-eyed eyes bucking, stuff like Cam get in front of the mic and Cam eyes be bucking, somebody asks a question, he train on you, that the same eye bucking energy that Cam Jordan represent, Eric Wilson had that same eye bucking intensity. It's just eyes bucking because he breaming with all kind of energy. He had the same personality, and he balled out in the preseason and in the camps. And when Demario Davis and him played together in the preseason, they were excellent together. It was like, wow. And then when the regular season came, what happened to Eric Wilson? Eric Wilson went to the practice squad, and Zach Bond, who ain't do a damn thing, made the active roster. And they didn't switch. They kept it the same. Even when the Green Bay Packers came a-looking, they said, hey, man, we want that guy. And they took Eric Wilson off the Saints practice squad. The Saints didn't say, hold on, we got to keep him. No, they let him go. He's in Green Bay right now. They know they got a good one. But that's my evidence to the great Saint think tank court to prove to you that the Saints are high on Zach Bond. And you don't ask them if they're high on something else, but I can't answer that one. But they are high on Zach Bond to the point they did that last year, and they're doing it this year when they didn't bring in a serious veteran to push Zach Bond out of here. Really, Andrew Dowell is the only dude that you can look at to say we're not actually. Let me change that. DeMarco Jackson has a place in this too, but you don't know. But with Dowell that he has experience. But DeMarco Jackson, you don't know. He's hurt all year. We want to see him step up and be that guy of the future. He's a question mark. I like his game, though. But Zach Bond, the Saints are all in on Zach Bond. He showed it last year, and they're showing it this year.
In pads, how much does that change the competitiveness of practice?
Yeah, I mean, first day of pads, we're ready to hit somebody. We're ready to go. So everyone's kind of tuned up, fired up a little bit, and it just upped the intensity a lot.
You seen what Caden did last year. Is that motivating for you? Thinking you could kind of follow maybe a similar path within this defense?
Yeah, definitely. We play very similar roles. I mean, I'm both edge rushers in college, and then came here and forced to do a mix of it all. And I think that really helped him in his process and his progress. I mean, he's a tremendous player, and he kind of showed me the blueprint for how this kind of in-between mix of a player is done.
I hope so.
I remember him saying that he had like a meeting with Dennis about about needing to improve in space. Like, how did he go from being like a guy who's an on-ball edge rusher type in college to being a guy that can kind of space?
Yeah, it's just working it every day.
Yeah.
I mean, every day after practice, he was out there working and doing something, whether it was pass rush or practicing tackling in space or fitting up routes or run fits. It's just work and time, really.
Zach, do you feel like there's an opportunity for you this year that maybe there wasn't quite in previous years? Like, do you feel like, without saying it stupidly, like this is sort of your time right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm kind of. It is my time. It's been my time. Like,
contract up.
It's time to go, and I gotta step up to the challenge and do what I do.
What was the conversation like with DA to have when Caden left? Because it still seems like confidence in that position group with you, Mario, and Keith is still quite high. And like you said, more of an opportunity. But you have a conversation with somebody basically saying, hey, we're counting on you to be an integral.
I mean, there wasn't really any conversations. It was just kind of known, like, Zach, it's time to step up. I had a conversation with myself, I guess I could say. I got to step up and do my thing and just play ball.
That's the thing, and that's the thing we talked about with Zach Bond. Now he's a talented dude. He got the athleticism. Nobody just gets 11 sacks. Now Wisconsin used him as an edge rusher. it would be really cool if Zach Bond, listen, everything is there, right? All of the stuff, Demario Davis working with him, everybody working with him, fam. Zach Bond, and he said it, the time is not, and it's the last year on his contract. So yes. But what if Zach Bond does what Caden Ellis do? Just saying, we knew Caden was a 7th round draft pick for the Saints, but he did have NFL blood and he had potential. Look what he turned into. Perhaps with everything that's being said, with they're looking at Zach Bond inside the building, and they're high on Zach Bond because they think that he makes that step this year. I really hope so, because he's saying he knows the defense. He's saying he knows the offense. He understands that this is the last year on his contract. He understands that, hey, man, I got to go. So he has the pressure of understanding that you got to put it all together this year. And if he does, that could be a good move for the Saints going into the future if they decide to keep him, because he could be one of the young linebackers. We were hoping when they took Zach Bond that he can be one of the young linebackers that ultimately replace Double D when he gets up there. You got Pete Werner, you got DeMarco Jackson, you got Zach Bond. Hopefully he steps up and shows what he can do. But the Saints family, they haven't brought anybody in here to challenge him in terms of being a veteran guy, let's be honest with you. King Chosen, shout out. He's Big Q is Pete. Yeah, he got a quad strain, bro. He got a quad strain. So yeah, he did a little dented up right now. Unfortunately, but that's one side of it. The other side of it is the Saints. That's why they packed with so much depth. That's why they added all of these veteran offensive lines. They have Max Garcia there. They brought Coda Martin back, who's an undrafted guy that they got rid of for Trey Turner, who got hurt for the year. So the Saints understand what kind of stuff this is and understand that Andrus Peat, he's a little danged up right now, but it's just a strain. So, that's all. No tears, no strains, so he will be back. Unfortunately, for it's just Zach Bond not Zach Bond, Andrus Peat. It's just unfortunate, family, that happens, man. So, but at least it's a strain, right? All right. Pops TG says, Q, one thing I'm disappointed about this team is Lattimore. Really? He's the best player in our team, top 3. Why isn't he regarded as a leader on this team? I think who said he's not a leader? I think you can consider Lattimore one of the leaders on the in the secondary on the defense. Lattimore is one of the lead. You got guys like Cam, DeMario, Laddie Daddy, Tyrann Mathieu. These guys are good. Now, of course, Tyrann Mathieu been in the league, longer than Lattimore, but Lattimore been here his entire career. And if you look at how he's played, he had the injury last year. He come out of the injury, played really well. And camp, he looked really good. So, it's just like the mindset of Laddie Daddy's the shutdown corner, and he getting disrespected on a lot of these cornerback ranking lists. They putting all these other guys who ain't played half the time. Okay, you got a guy that been in the league for 2 years, and you putting him ahead of a guy that been playing in the league that been shutting people down for several years. I don't know who paying these people to do this. Like, it's almost like these rankings is akin to like somebody getting some paper to put these guys where I don't understand how the mentality that goes into the ranking. It's almost it's not supposed to be a popularity contest. It's supposed to be something that's strictly placed about the performance on the field over a period of time. So if you got a guy that's been a solid cornerback for 5 years and a guy that just stepped in the league at 2 years, how you put him over the guy that's a solid cornerback for 5 years? Unless you're treating it like a popularity contest. And unfortunately, that's what it is when a lot of these people start doing it. So I think Lattimore is getting disrespected as a top cornerback in this NFL. I really think so. I think he is a leader on the team, bro. I don't think you should be disappointed about Lattimore. I think Laddie Daddy is doing what he's supposed to do. He's been playing really well in camp. He came out of the injury last year and started to play. So Lattimore is a solid dude, man. Remember he came out. Remember all the stuff that happened with him. What was that? A couple years ago when he had he got caught up in the car with his friends, and that almost turned bad. Remember that? And he got up out of that. After that incident, you didn't hear nothing from Lattimore. Lattimore fixed stuff. He started focusing more on his craft, and things got a lot better for him. So he had some off-field issue type stuff that was happening to him, but he's a fast learner. So I don't think you should. Don't be disappointed with him, bro. I consider him as a leader on the team. Now, if we were talking about Lattimore, and y'all know I'm about to go with this, with Ramczyk, you won't talk about somebody and where disappointment needs to be placed. It should not be placed on Lattimore. It should be placed on Ryan Ramczyk. Ryan Ramczyk, a.k.a. Big Check, hadn't done a damn thing since he got the big check from the Saints. And I remember family members when we did the shows was sitting up here saying, Q, we shouldn't pay Lattimore. Why shouldn't we play it? Because you pay him, he going to lay down on the team. He ain't going to do this. He got to do that. And then Lattimore steps up, plays better. And the only thing they could say prior to that was that Laddie Daddy went to sleep on garbage time wide receivers. He didn't play him like he played a Mike Evans or all these other guys. He didn't do that. That changed. People can even say that about Lattimore. That changed. That changed when Aaron Glenn left and then Coach Richard came in here. All that changed. He became a better cornerback stepping up to the plate. But if disappointment wants to be issued out, you can put it firmly on the shoulders of Ryan Ramczyk. What the hell has he done lately? What the hell has Ramczyk done lately? The people was upset like, man, they ain't going to play Lattimore. Yeah, they paid Lattimore. But they paid Ram. But Ram, what the hell has Ram done? And then people say, well, Q, he been banged up. Lattimore been banged up too. That's what I'm saying. Why there's no criticism for Ramczyk? What the hell is Ramczyk doing? You know, they made him a top 5 high-paid NFL offensive lineman. The Saints did several years ago. What the hell has he done since the Saints made him a top 5 paid offensive lineman in the league? What did he do? Ramczyk has not played like that since he got that money, man. And there was a few games when you see him dominate, but the majority of the time, Ramczyk hadn't looked like shit. And I'm the only one saying that. I ain't see nobody writing no articles on why Ramczyk got that money and ain't been playing like he was supposed to, but it's a big difference from the Ram we seen before he got the money and the one we got after. Because he wasn't hurt all that time. He wasn't hurt all that time. So, I mean, it's a different level of intensity that I'm watching. My eyes are not deceiving me, and your eyes is not deceiving you. You know, Ramczyk got paid that much. And another thing is about the Ramczyk, and I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna leave it alone for a while, is that Ramczyk is supposed to be the best offensive lineman on this team. He's supposed to be the best one. He's occupying the right tackle position. That's not the position of the best offensive lineman. It's supposed to be on the team. It's supposed to be the left tackle. Even if you got, the only way that happens is if you got a left-handed quarterback, then he fits the blind side because the left-hand quarterback. Right-hand quarterback, left tackle. Left-hand quarterback, right tackle. We got a right-hand quarterback last time I checked. How the rookie over there at the blind side, he ain't there. And then they say Q is about the contract. Man, these people spending money like they printing it over there. They got Saint-made printing press they got straight from the Fed over there. They done took all of the NFL's money system and totally made a joke of it. The Saints done mastered it, man. Watch it. They're going to change the whole game because of the Saints. When the Saints start winning and having deep playoff runs, they're going to go back and change all of the money rules because of the Saints. The Saints done turned it upside down. They done made a mockery of it. When the Saints start doing right, then they change it. But the thing is, he should be left tackle. He really should be. He should be. He's like, well, Q, that's the coach's decision. You mean to tell me if Ramczyk went to the coaches and said, hey, coach, I want to be the left tackle, that they'll stop him? I'm just asking. If Ram told the coaches, hey, listen, man, I'm the best offensive lineman on this team. I'm the highest paid offensive lineman on this team. I want to be the left tackle. Would the Saints say, no, Ram, you got to stay at the right side? Just asking. Y'all put it in the chat. Let me know how you feel. If Ramczyk, your best offensive lineman, came to you and told you, I want to be the left side guy, I want to be the blind side guy, would they stop him? Hell no, they wouldn't stop him. And even if he did take the position, they said they're going to pay him more money. The Saints ain't scared of paying you no more money. They ain't scared of giving you the bread. They're not. They got $14 million right now, and we got Jimmy Graham, and I don't know how much they paid for Jimmy Graham, but they damn sure ain't expensive. You got Jimmy Graham, Foster, do I have to go down this list? And they still got $14 million? It might be a little less than that right now. Give me a second. Let me take a look at it. Perhaps Sport Track changed the numbers on it because we don't exactly know. Let me see if the Jimmy Graham, let me see what the Jimmy Graham contract is. Y'all put it in the chat if y'all know. I don't think it's expensive. They got it at 13.3. 13 point. Hold on, let me look at over the cap. Give me just a second, fam. I see the super chat. K man, I got you. Hold on just a second, bro. Let me look up something right quick. Let me check over the cap to see where the Saints are. Because I don't think they released the particulars on Jimmy Graham's deal. That can't be right, man. That can't be right. Okay, there he is. Okay. All right, so 13.1 mil. So over the cap has it currently at 13.1 mil, and Sport Track has it at 13.3. So you got Jimmy Graham, Foster Monroe, Jamal Williams, and still got $13 million? The Saints say they scared of paying nobody no money, you know? So I'm just saying, man, at the end of the day, if you want to be disappointed, my brother, I think you need to put it on Ramcheck. He not only getting the money, but he ain't even at the best position on the offensive line to get paid. And it seemed like just me and a handful of people are saying, why isn't that damn man over there at the left side where we need him at? We need our best guy covering the blind side of the $150 million quarterback. Makes sense? Makes sense? Put one in the chat if this makes sense. But you got a rookie over there? He ain't a rookie no more. He's a second-year guy, but he only played one game last year. He ain't a rookie, but he played one game last year. My bad. He's second-year man. One game playing Penning. He got potential, but Penning should be right tackle. I've been saying this for years, man. When they did this, I was really like, what the hell is going on here? But if you're Ramcheck, and once again, if Ram says, I want to play on that side, the Saints would say, you go ahead on and get it. You go ahead on and get it. They would not stop you. They wouldn't stop Ram. Just saying. All right, K-Man says, this is what gives me pause about this team. The trenches on both sides of the ball. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the super chat there, brother.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you, K-Man, on the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Now, I think the offensive line is actually I think the offensive line, bro, on right now. Now, fam, let's just keep it a buck 10, a buck 15, like I always say, a buck 10, a buck 15. I'm just gonna be honest with you. The way I see it is that I think that the Saints offensive line, the Saints know exactly what they're doing here. When they redid Andrus Peat's deal for a 1-year deal, they wanted to build camaraderie with the offensive line. Wasn't a bad idea. They declined Cesar Ruiz's option because they wasn't going to pay him the 12 or 13, 14 million, whatever it was. But behind the scenes, what it did was it gave the Saints an opportunity to kind of work out a long-term plan with Cesar Ruiz that possibly could be done, sometimes during maybe before the season ends, could be done right in the middle or something like that. You never know. Might be done before the season starts. But the thing is, when you looking at the Saints offensive line going into 2024, they got a lot of people that's going to be free agents. Andrus is one of them. We know Andrus is on his way out, and it's actually the job is for Nick Seldeveri, who's currently, I think he passed his physical. He's coming off an ailment. So you got Nick Seldeveri. That's the future, right? You got James Hurst, who's here. He's their best swing lineman coming in, the first guy in at guard or tackle for a guy that gets hurt, right? He's a free agent next year. And then you have some of the veterans like Max Garcia, who plays guard and center, the Saints bring in. I think the Saints had a good idea on how they wanted to do it. They gave McCoy his money. Remember we talked about that, when how McCoy handled it the right way and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson didn't? They were both free agents, and Chauncey, all he had to do was just be cool, play it cool, and see. And both of them was in the same straits, and they gave Eric McCoy his bread. So you got McCoy, you got Cesar Ruiz, who I ultimately think the Saints are going to try to re-sign. They don't want to have that much flux where they have to draft or bring in other guys. Cesar Ruiz was the Saints' first-round draft pick. He actually is working now at the guard position. So you would want to pay him. Remember, he was a first-round draft pick. So the Saints, hey, thank the Dougie Marrone and Jari Evans helping them out this year. Cesar Ruiz was a first-round draft pick. He was. So you got Penning, you got McCoy, you got Ruiz, you got Peat on the way out, and then the other position, which is Ryan Ramczyk, which we already had that spiel about Ryan. So I don't think this. I think the Saints' offensive line is actually a pretty good line, barring injury. But the Saints did have a bunch of veterans they brought in him. Storm Norton. We talked about Garcia and the rest of the guys, and then they have a few of the other veterans that they brought in, a couple of undrafted guys. And then you have guys that need to try to step up, like a Kelvin Throckmorton or a Landon Young. Those guys got to show what they can do as well. So the Saints are pretty decently in the offensive line position. Now, in terms of the defensive line, I think the Saints, it'll yet to be determined how well these guys have played together. But if you study the film on Saunders and Shepard and Breesy, these guys all play the same way. They big, physical, violent defenders that'll fight you every down. That's what they do. They fight every down. That's what the tape showed. Now, if they stay consistent with the tape, and that is actually their playing style, then we can see that type of action for the Saints defensive line. So we still have yet to determine who's the other end, even if it's Peyton Turner. Peyton Turner has to show that he can stay healthy. Then they got Carl Granderson, who's solid. Isaiah Foskey behind him. Passanio is also fortifying the defensive end, as well as the interior of the defensive line. Malcolm Roach, we know he's good. And they got some other guys that can try to see if they can make names for themselves, like Jaron Cage and the rest of these guys. So we'll see how it all works. But at the end of the day, I think the Saints defensive lines and the offensive line are protecting themselves insofar as, like, especially the offensive line against injury. The Saints seen a lot of their offensive linemen get banged up. Andrus Peat was another one, and now he's dealing with a strain right now. Just a strain, nonetheless, but still, that is not a good sign for Andrus Peat to start off training camp with a strain. It happens. But at least it's not anything else like poor Trey Turner's was, where he had an absolute tear and his season is done with. So only time will tell, fam, but the best way to fortify against injury is to provide really good depth. This is something the Saints have to keep doing, fam. They got to keep doing it. So we gonna see. All right. Yeah, I don't know, Pelicans Nola. I don't know what his salary is. A hamburger and some fries. It can't be very much that he decided to come back on. I know it's a 1-year deal. Jimmy Graham's, and they haven't released the money yet, to my knowledge. Matter of fact, I'm looking it up right now. I know it's just a 1-year deal. That's all I know. I don't think it's anything with the so according to when the Saints is saying, the NewOrleansSaints.com said the Saints signed him to a 1-year deal. So there's no particulars. There's no, they're not saying how much money. It's just a 1-year contract. They hadn't released the money details as of yet. So I don't know, but it can't be very much because I guess Sport Track and Over the Cap have not updated, how much he's getting paid. But still, in all, right now, both Over the Cap and Sport Track have the Saints with over $13 million right now, which is, dude, we'll see. All right. Vibing with Johnson. It's crazy how Andrews gets hurt when the yeah, as soon as the pass go, I got a strain. And you know what? And I ain't making light of it, man, because I'm actually the guy that sits up here for years and defended Andrus Peat. Y'all know that. I defended Andrus Peat because Pete played even when he was hurt. See, Brother Derek says soft is soft, sir. That's pretty soft, man. You softer than soft serve ice cream. That's pretty damn soft. But no, what I'm saying is, I can't call him that, Brother Derek. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Because Andrus plays when he's hurt. That's the thing. Now, if he didn't play and he was like, I got a strain, I got to sit out a couple of games, That would be different. But he plays when he's hurt. Remember when he had that problem with his hand? He had that cast on his hand. He played with that. You know, you remember that? And when he had issues with his legs, he played. He plays when he's hurt. I can't call him soft because he's actually out there playing while he's hurting. You know, he had that big ass cast. He had a ball on his hand that time he was out there still playing. And then he was dealing with some type of ankle issue that year too. So I can't call Andrus soft because he plays when he's hurt. That's more than I can say about a lot of them guys. All right. Shout out to my brother T Dirty, man. St. John Butler. How you doing, my brother? Appreciate you being here. Jarrell says he got 1.1. Okay, did he? 1.1 million? Okay. All right. Where source that for me, Jarrell? Where are you getting that from, bro? Throw your source out there, bro, so I can direct the family to it to let them know. Derek says, I think we'll end up trading for a right guard before the season starts. Now, first round pick would definitely be another, it could be an offensive lineman. Well, I mean, that wouldn't be out of the norm, you know what I'm saying? Because the Saints do have quite, I mean, you got Nick Severity, who's the future at one of the guard positions. You have Trevor Penning, you still have Ryan Ramczyk. And then depending on what the Saints do with Cesar Ruiz, I think they'll sign Cesar Ruiz back. So if that's the case, then you got your future line right there. If Cesar Ruiz is signed by the Saints, then you got your line right there. All right. Pete says Jimmy Graham signs a 1-year deal for, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, cool. All right, Pete, do me a favor and throw your source out there, bro. Give me a source on that. Thank you. All right. Derek says, okay, Q, I'll call him. Okay, I can't argue on that one, Derek. You got him. All right, I can't argue you on the triage, bro. You know, I gotta let you have that, brother. All right. Cap says, so Penning hurt for how long? Penning's not hurt at all, to my knowledge. He had an issue, but he came back. Penning is actually all right, to my knowledge. I don't think Penning's dealing with anything right now. He did have an issue early on, but Penning is good right now. The last time I've heard, so I haven't heard anything on him being hurt. Okay, all right. Bobbin with the Johnson says, "Did you hear about Jake? Did you hear about Jake? Oh, how he played today? Yeah, I heard him, and I seen some footage on Jake Haener. Jake played pretty good today in camp. Did a pretty good job in camp. Is that what you're talking about, Bobbin with the Johnsons? He played pretty good in camp. I did see some of the highlights that the news agency released online. I was watching some of them make the throws and stuff like that. But let me ask the family member, and I'm not trying to taint Jake Haener's name, his good name, because he just got here. But do you guys believe that Jake Haener will perform better than what's the guy that we had he got up out of here, the Notre Dame quarterback, Ian Book. There you go. All right, do you guys think Jake Haener has a better Saint career than Ian Book? Y'all put it in the chat. Let me know. Y'all put it in the chat. Let me know. Y'all let me know. Does Jake Haener have a better start of his career than Ian Book? Oh yeah, okay. Mr. Mina says yes. Thank you, Queen. Appreciate you. Yeah, so there it is. MT's fine, St. Gomer. MT's doing all right, man. He's stepping up, handling the business, man. Cap man, it says Book got booked. Put her here. Bought as soon as yeah. He got messed up pretty bad, man. The Saints put him in that game, man, and I think that destroyed a lot of the confidence in Ian Book when he got through. Which game was that he played in? Was it against I forgot which game Ian Book played, but it was one of the worst performances. You do that to see the Saints wrong for that. They should have just signed a veteran off the street than to do that to Ian Book. They put him in there, and then that just destroyed whatever little confidence he had in the Saints building to the point where they just put him on the practice squad and allowed the Philadelphia Eagles to pluck him up off of there, man. So, that was tough, man. Against Miami, that's right. The Dolphins. Boy, that was horrible. That was hard to watch Ian Book get slammed like that. Then all the negative Book puns came out. Anything you can that you can bookmark, Everything. I heard them all. Every negative book pun that you can come up with, the Who That Nation had it on tap that day, boy. That was something else. Yeah, they should have signed a veteran. That was bad, man. And the Saints, I think, the Saints lost confidence in him too. He lost confidence in himself. And that's what most of these all they got right now is their confidence. And they put that boy in there and they turn him into fish food, man. All right. 504 says book is a chapter in Sean's book of failures. Okay. All right. King Chosen was I'm not trying to see no time soon. Ram says Ian Book played in Miami game. I know because me and my wife were there that night. Thank you, bro. All right, Caps. I'm ready to see a Debo and Taylor battle for number 2. Yeah, that's a good one. I still say, and it's just me, I'm just throwing my little 2 cents in there. Yeah, the book was closed. See, there it is. That's Reginald. Reginald said the book is closed. Yeah, the thing is like and I'm gonna say that before we get on up out of here, but the book of Ian, chapter 0, verse nothing's in that book. It's like you open the cover and there's nothing there. Blank pages. Oh man. But yeah, the Debo and Alante Taylor battle, I still got Paulson Adebo, man. I'm gonna just say that. I'm from that school of thinking. I'm thinking Paulson Adebo didn't do bad enough for him to lose his cornerback position. He was going through a sophomore year. The same stuff that Alante Taylor gonna go through. You're gonna see Alante Taylor go through his sophomore year as well. And Paulson Adebo learned a lot coming out of that. He in his 3rd year. Adebo, a lot of us are forgetting how good Paulson Adebo is. Adebo is good. Alante Taylor is special, no doubt about it. But there's also a Dennis Allen component to this. Dennis Allen drafted Alante Taylor to replace Chauncey Gardner-Johnson because he felt like, and this is coming from him, that Alante Taylor could do a lot of what Chauncey Gardner-Johnson did. And y'all remember that Dennis Allen never wanted to move Chauncey Gardner-Johnson out of that role as that nickel guy rolling around in that modified nickel system. When he drafted Alante Taylor, he seen Alante Taylor as that guy. And when Chauncey seen Alante, Chauncey got all up in arms, got all over emotional about the situation, didn't play it straight, play it cool. He should have played it cool. This is a business. Step up, show up. And then what he did was he started not showing up at camp, then popping up half the time. And while that was happening, Alante Taylor in there getting all them reps. And you served yourself up to getting on up out of here. But anyway, Dennis Allen drafted Alante Taylor to fulfill the Chauncey Gardner role in his defense. It'll be a learning curve for Adebo to go, because we know that Taylor could play inside and outside. We know that because he did that last year. But Paulson Adebo is that opposite guy. And Alante Taylor, and I'm telling y'all, with Dennis Allen likes Alante Taylor where he is in that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson role. I'm just me saying that. And I'm just saying that because that is a big piece to the puzzle in the Saints defense. They have a guy that can do what Chauncey do, and they feel like Alante could do that. So in the end, just saying, I'm just saying. So we'll see. You'll see. That's just my little 2 cents in it. We'll see. All right. What's up, brother Anthony? How you doing? All right. Ram said, hey, Q, car remind you of W wrestler Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit. I remember Chris Benoit. Yeah, he kind of sitting there doing that interview. Yeah, he kind of look a little bit like him sitting up there. Reginald says Taylor better in the slot. What you think, Q? I think Taylor is better in the slot. How often we seen Paulson Adebo play there? I mean, we hadn't seen a lot of Adebo in the slot because that's not his role in the Saints defense. Dennis Allen wants Adebo where he wants him at, opposite of Laddie Daddy on out there on the edge. In the slot position, like I said, this is Dennis Allen's call, and Dennis Allen drafted Alante Taylor to replace Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That means that role in the modified nickel, roaming around, making tackles, making plays, doing stuff like that. And somebody got to play that role. And there is nobody else on this team that's better than Alante Taylor at that position. Now, a lot of the people are throwing Bradley Roby up there, and y'all know damn well Bradley Roby been in the league for 10 years. And last year, Bradley Roby was missing open field tackles, and he was like, okay, let's see. He was getting trying to hand tackles and arm tackles, missing off, open field tackles. That don't look good for a 10-year veteran. Saints holding on to him. I thought they should have got him up out of here. And still in all, we still got some time here. They may like him for the depth situation. I don't think they reworked his contract, to be honest with you. I don't think they touched his contract, to be honest with you. I don't remember them touching his contract. I'm trying to remember, and I don't think they did. I don't think they touched. Did they touch Bradley Roby's? I don't think they touched Bradley Roby's contract. Did they rework Bradley Roby? It might have got beyond me. Let me see. I don't think they did. That's a good one now. I don't think the Saints touched his contract. Yeah, the Saints gave him an extension last year. Roby, hold on here. Let me take a look at him here. I got my sport track pulled up here. Give me just a second, fam. Let me take a look at this. This got me looking at this. I don't think they touched his contract. No, they didn't, because they in the is this right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's in the last year of the deal. Okay. He got $3 million this year, and then I think his contract is up after this year, and then the Saints get hit for several years from 24 to 26 with dead cap money and phantom contract signing bonuses. So they owe him like $476,000 from 24, 25, and 26. So, and then they got dead cap money on there too. So, yeah, I think according to Sport Track, is saying he got 2023 as the last year there. So, $3 million. They didn't rework nothing with him, because I guess this is one of the moves that he got to. But yeah, but who the best slot guy is not Bradley Roby to me. Bradley Roby is at this stage looking like how he been playing with the Saints, and Marcus Robinson and Coach Woods could probably revamp him. They might have the key to unlocking Bradley Roby and making him look better, because it does happen. So we have, and that's Coach Woods. Matter of fact, Coach Woods' position is the cornerbacks, and the safeties are Coach Robinson. So maybe Coach Woods can unlock Bradley Roby, but I see him as like the fourth best cornerback that we have here, to be honest with you. Alontae Taylor was a second round draft pick, which the draft pick value makes him a starter. So we're not going to put Bradley Roby in a nickel ahead of Alontae Taylor. That don't make any sense. Alontae's but his draft value as a second round draft pick stipulates that he's supposed to be a starter, especially if you're going into it's the second year. So we'll see how it all goes, fam. So it we'll see. All right. So yeah, we'll see. But the best chance, that's my talking point. People ask it, and it's cool to watch the battle. Don't get me wrong, I'm with you on it, like watching them competing. But in Dennis Allen's head, unless something drastically goes wrong for that to happen, like some injury occur, because the only way Alontae gets out there if Paulson Adebo has an injury setback. Then he moves Alontae out there, then of course Roby would step into the slot position. We seen that last year. But if Adebo's healthy, Adebo's the second cornerback, Alontae goes in the slot, because they need somebody to play that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson role, and Alontae Taylor is the guy. He was drafted to be that. So that's what I'm saying. That position is very important to Dennis Allen. And you have Alontae Taylor, who's a fantastic tackler, open field tackler, has speed, big and physical, could play the corner and the safety position. Alontae Taylor gives you value at that modified nickel position, that slot position. He does. Big and physical, and can see if he can match up with Chauncey Gardner give. And he's not as emotional as Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, like Chauncey gets in these guys' head, but he's more of a technician. He has more of a higher ceiling than Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Just saying, because he plays under control. I think if Chauncey can kind of get his emotion under tamp and kind of do that and focus on what he's supposed to focus on, I think he would have. I think attitude really hurt Chauncey Gardner-Johnson too, because when you think about the big scheme of things, what he was looking for wasn't really that big of a deal, right? If he had a better attitude how he played it, I think everything, boy, it would have looked a lot different too. I don't think he would have left. Like if the Saints even gave him exactly, I think he wanted what, 5 million or something. And the Saints didn't, if they didn't give him the 5, they got right up near it and you take it, right? Then throw incentives in there, right? You meet certain indicators, right? And then you be able to get the rest of your money. Like if I get this, then I get more. I get this. You see what I'm saying? But I'm thinking if his attitude was a little better, because the Saints wanted him. They wanted him, and then it broke down. And then Dennis Allen just said, let's just trade him. Now they ain't getting nothing from him. That was done, but they just wanted him out of here. And then remember when Bob came on the show, Bob Rose, shout out to him from Saints News Network, he was saying that inside that Chauncey was being a problem in the locker room with several people. And the Saints didn't want that, so they kind of got him out of there. So, a little backdrop on that. But it'd been an interesting to imagine if Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had Eric McCoy's mentality when he got paid, how all of the Saints secondary room would look. Chauncey would still be in a slot. Alante, what would Alante Taylor be? He'd be a safety, wouldn't he? Because Chauncey would be in a slot, right? It'd be Laddie Daddy Adebo and Chauncey in a slot. And Paulson Adebo, Alante Taylor would probably be a safety. Well, you still had Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu. So it'd have been interesting to see where he would have fit in this thing. It'd have been interesting to see. Just use my imagination right there. All right, what's up, Jared? Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you. All right, Ram said, hey, Q, did you hear that? Yeah, I heard about Deion Jones signing with the Panthers, man. That was actually a pretty good signing for them. The Panthers were looking for some help at the linebacker level, getting the Deion Jones. And listen, I don't know what Deion Jones they're getting. They got a fantastic defensive coordinator there and a good defensive staff that probably can get the best out of these guys. But it depends on what Deion Jones you're getting. Are you getting Deion from Atlanta or Cleveland Deion? But Deion Jones is it's an LSU guy. That's my squad. Love Deion Jones, his game, and them getting him. If his mind right, that's going to be a nice signing for the Panthers. So the Panthers keep doing what they're doing, man. Getting good signings. So the PNP camp should be very happy about him. We'll see if he can stay healthy and contribute, man. That's going to be pretty awesome. Pete says, according to WWL TV, okay. All right, she says Graham qualified. Okay, hold on. Let me kind of share that with the family, man. Give me just a second, bro. Said WWL TV. Jimmy Graham. All right. Because I looked it up and I didn't see anything on it. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me see. All right. I thank y'all for sharing that with me. Because I see a 1 year. Okay, hold on here. That might not be it right there. Okay, here come from the Spun, they're saying, hold on, the Spun, which is an internet magazine, is saying, okay, I got it. Okay, thank you, bro. There it is right there. Let me share it with the rest of the family members. Thank you for that, Pete. All right, there it is right there. Thank you, fam. Thank you for showing that. That's what I always say, man. I always look for the sources to show the family members, But Brooke Kirschhofer says that Jimmy Graham's salary for the season is the veteran minimum of $1.3 million. Since the deal qualifies for vet minimum benefit, he counts just just over $1 million against the cap. You get Jimmy Graham for basically pocket change. It's ridiculous. So the Saints are still operating with 13 million. Unbelievable, man. Them people got Jimmy Graham for just over $1 million. Just over $1 million to get Jimmy Graham to come to your team. And Jimmy Graham looks fantastic, man. He looks awesome, man. When the Saints signed me out, that looked like he was playing football all damn year long. That's how looked great. Looks like he looking great. He looks in great shape. And then you have Jimmy Graham, Foster Monroe, Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. Oh, come on. They paid just over $1 million for Jimmy Graham. Oh my goodness, man. Crazy. 13, and they still got 13 plus million left, family. 13 million. $13 million left. So the Saints still are in this thing. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. You get Jimmy Graham, a in-shape Jimmy Graham for over $1 million. This ain't a beat up ass Jimmy Graham. You got Jimmy, you got to go in there and start for us. You know, we ain't got nobody. No, that's none of that. Jimmy Graham plays behind Juwan Johnson and Foster Monroe, and you mix Taysom in there for over $1 million. Good Lord, man. Good Lord. Good Lord. Saints about to kick some patootie. Let's just say. All right, so anyway, fam, let's get on through it. Let's recap everything we did today before I get ready to get on up out of here. We got 180 plus of us in here. Please do me a favor and smash upon the like button. If you're enjoying the show, please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And also do your boy a favor and please feel free to share the show on your social media feeds. Let them know the Sports Coma in here. We talking black and gold. We recapped Saints training camp day 5 in this piece. We also reacted to several interviews. Dennis Allen had dropped some good game on us. Derek Carr with his brother David Carr talking some game. We also heard from Zach Bourne and him talking about his role coming up. And it's good to hear from Zach Bourne. We need to hear more from Zach Bourne. For players that have that have questionable, like he's a guy that's your first linebacker, and if injury occurred to Pete Werner or Demario Davis, Zach Bourne is the first guy in. So it's good to hear from him his mentality and mind state of what it is going into training camp. So any chance, when I seen, I was like, let me play this, man, and here, because a lot of questions revolve around what this guy knows and if he can actually do the job that he said he can do. And like I said, in the Saints multiverse, that this guy here is the best version of Zach Bourne that we've ever seen. He's the best version of Zach Bourne. So there you go. Also, we talked about Andrus Peat, man, hampered by a quadricep injury, is just a sprain. This was released by Nick Under. He tweeted out, his sources told him that it was just a sprain. So Andrus is fine. All right. So in any way, we also covered the Alvin Kamara deal. If we can get it to pop back up there. Yeah, there you go. Alvin Kamara plans to talk to Roger Goodell about the Las Vegas stuff in an attempt. I guess he's trying to kind of put his word in there to hopefully lighten up the ability or whatever he's getting. But a lot of people anticipating Alvin Kamara getting 4 to, anywhere between 4. Some people said 2 games. Some people believe 3. Some say about a month worth of games. So anywhere between, I guess you could say between 2 games at the least, and the max being like 8 games, like half the season. So anywhere in there. And remember, Roger Goodell doesn't like the Saints, and he's a heavy punisher of the Saints, just to let you know. So you already know that. But anyway, that's some of the stuff, and that's everything that we covered today on the Coma. Also, family, feel free to join or go and subscribe to our email list. It's in the chat. Subscribe to our email list, and also lock in to whothatdaily.com. That's our own articles that our writers are writing over there. They cover pro football, basketball, boxing, all of the great stuff going on over there. They covering it. Matter of fact, I was reading over a great article that was written just not too long ago by one of the writers over there. Oscar wrote a really good article on Bud Crawford and who he fights next. And of course, shout out to the family members that was on Ring Kings Boxing with me. That's my boxing stream. When I did the punch by punch play, I was bucking up in there, man. I was excited, man, watching that, because this was a big fight. But this is a great article by Oscar, and he covers the options for Bud Crawford. Who does he fight next? And he goes into it and shows in really in-depth article, talks a lot about it. Y'all need to go and check it out, man. So proud of the team at the whothatdaily.com. Shout out to the editor-in-chief, B. She's over there tearing it down, doing a great job. Much love to you, baby girl. Appreciate you. All right, so anyway, with that being said, I'm going to get out on that, man. I appreciate all you beautiful black and gold people out there. We'll be back here on Tuesday for our Patreon. So like I said, family, join the movement. Join the movement. Join the movement. Be a part of the movement. Become a member of the channel. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Pro Media Network for locked content. Check all that out. And remember, just help out any way you can. Financially speaking, I just mentioned that. because all that goes to building a greater and better platform. You see our writers are writing articles. We're doing a lot of great things, and we just keeping it moving. We are a movement, family, so move with us and help. And for those who are doing it, man, thank you guys. Y'all see all of the great and beautiful things that we're doing in the Who Dat Nation for the community. So with that being said, I'm gonna get out on that. Much love to y'all, and I'll see our guys and girls on our Patreon stream tomorrow. And the rest of you guys, I'll see you on Wednesday. Much love, and Who Dat TV.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elvis. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, Boogie like this, and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us.